That it is. That it is. Kicking things off here on Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, sweating all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. The Red Terran player coming out from the land of Germany. He is going to be representing Genesis Gaming. He is BattleB.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Russian Protoss player. He is blue, representing himself. It is SKillous.
And Light, while I was sort of skimming through BattleB's Wikipedia page and noticing that he is a very active player when it comes to online events, recently playing in the OC Super Series in particular, I noticed something. I think we can induct BattleB into that club of players with really cool names, because his name, Sven Kroff. That's some Viking stuff.
It is, mate, it is. And I mean, I'm sure maybe that'll catch on, once things get underway. But I'm really concerned here because, mate, the Cybercore is about to finish up at home. I'm feeling a Proxy Stargate Void Ray Shield Battery Rush.
What else can it be from here, right?
Oh, boy.
He's not going to throw it on a Robo facility, is he?
Dude, that'd be insane. Why make things harder for yourself? Just go for a Stargate.
Come on, you cheeky probe. Throw it on a building already.
We gotta wait for the Cybercore to finish up first.
Oh, right. That was the gateway that finished up. Yep.
Oh god, but what I was about to get into was, of course, it is a Proxy Stargate. Is that I hope that BattleB was watching the last series, because, mate, like, I'm still not over it. I'm still like, Thermal looks so good. I hope that BattleB was watching to be inspired, mate.
Exactly. Probably not enough time to really adapt any plans. He, was coming in today with an idea of how he wanted to play out. He probably didn't have enough time in those, what was it, not even an hour long, not even 45-minute long series to make any big changes. But as you were saying, just get some inspiration, right? A little bit of a morale boost.
Exactly. Meanwhile, this is a bold pylon. Well, it's not going to finish, for one. Yeah. So I'm really, like, he still wants to commit. I'm so surprised he didn't establish himself and start establishing himself on the low ground. Instead, he waited so long, and he's being a little bit more assertive and aggressive with this. We'll see if it works out for him. BattleB did go for an SCV scout. We already have a bunker on the way. He's well aware of the potential of what's coming his way. But this Adept, wow, it gets in. I
like this from SKillous, though. Cut out in the middle, man. Don't leapfrog your way forward. Just go straight into the natural base. It's definitely a very big risk, but he's already got BattleB a little shaken. He's retreated to the high ground. He is either going to lift or cancel it. Yeah, he's going to have to lift up his natural base eventually. Yeah,
exactly. He does have a lot of Marines, but the Marines are being shaved off one after the other. The SCVs are going down as well. Marines are not what you want to deal with this Void Ray, but unfortunately, it's all he has.
I don't normally consider Void Rays to be a particularly good harassment unit, at least when it comes to killing workers, but in this case, there's just nothing to really contest them. That's going to change once the Cyclone gets out, but by how much? It all depends on control for both players.
Yeah,
both players.
Again, I'm really worried by... I'm really
worried...
Oh my god, the lock-on! No! No, and just like that, the Void Rays are going to be able to focus on the add-on!
And they will. Thankfully, lock-on does come off cooldown. Magfield Accelerator hasn't finished up though, so SKillous is able to make it out of there with both of his Void Rays alive. A lot of damage has already been dealt to BattleB, but at least he has 2 orbital commands.
I'm just shocked by the positioning of these shield batteries. Like, I really don't like it. Just because SKillous is so limited by the angle of attack. He has to be here. Otherwise, if he tries to go straight into the production and straight into the main from like this Void Ray, there's no support here right next to you. So, like, you're just left open. It's so much, the likelihood of being exposed or leaving your Void Rays exposed is so much higher.
Yeah, you're right that we normally do see those shield batteries get thrown down by that third base location. It's a little strange to say the least that SKillous decided to really focus more on the natural ramp.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, the lock-on on the Adept was so important. I was about to bring up that point, see the lock-on on the Void Ray, and see what Void Ray die. But that did not happen. So at the moment, SKillous is making do with these shield batteries, and the important part is that he is not 100% all in. He's transitioning. He does have a Nexus at home.
And another important part, Phoenixes can lift Cyclones.
But they can.
I believe those Phoenixes will be in range of the bunker, but prismatic alignment, man. That absolutely chews through armored units. Especially those that can't fight back.
Exactly. We only have one Cyclone remaining. It's one of those things where SKillous is trying to transition, but if he had doubled down, like, now would be a good moment to just keep on pushing forward. He's got so much momentum after killing those two Cyclones. It's going to take so much longer for BattleB to break out.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those situations where SKillous didn't expect to be able to take out those Cyclones like that. He went to see if he could get anything done, and he wasn't expecting to get anything done, but he did. He got a lot done. And
just like that, the third Cyclone goes down. So will all these Marines. There's still a little bit more energy left on these shield batteries. Oh, there's do see a cancel on the bunker. But again, BattleB, he's just stuck here on one base. And there it is. Additional gateways. We have charge. Oh, we see a scan. BattleB realizes the position he's in.
Yeah, it's starting to get very precarious for him. He can finally start to break out of this contain, I suppose. Now the shield batteries are out of energy, but he still has to respect those Void Rays, right? Yeah, Void Rays, Phoenixes. He continues to make more and more Phoenixes.
I'll be honest, I just don't think he can. Maybe with a second Cyclone, he'll be able to overpower this, especially with his Vikings, as well as the ability to kite. So here we go, as BattleB tries to break on through. The Marines are going to get picked off one after the other. So do the Vikings. Oh, God.
Yeah, target firing wasn't there initially for SKillous, but now he is focused entirely on this side of the map. I am so surprised that that Cyclone stayed in the air that long. GG is called. SKillous takes game number 1.
GG. SKillous, and that wasn't even his final form, you know? Like, he was transitioning. He was spending his resources elsewhere, not on that aggression. And despite that, he was able to overwhelm and overpower BattleB. Well done by SKillous. Meanwhile, I hope Game 2 isn't along the lines of Game 1, just because I want to see more of BattleB, right? It's his debut, you know? It's his first time here. I want to see him get into a game, into at least the mid-game.
Without a doubt. I want to see BattleB play out his game, right?
Yeah.
So at least to get a sense of how he likes to play out this matchup, at least. But, yeah, I'm not sure if it's nerves or, you know, just the nerves of having a debut match here in the DreamHack Masters. There were a couple of key mistakes, control mistakes from BattleB that SKillous was absolutely able to take advantage of. Yeah, I have to imagine, you know, normally he probably doesn't make these.
Yeah, mistakes. Like, shout out to SKillous, like, he was able to capitalize on that, right? Like, never letting the Cyclones, like, get to a high enough number. I don't think there was ever more than 3, rarely more than 2. So, yeah, because of that, despite investing in the Cyclones and getting mag field accelerators, like, it didn't really come into play there. Allowing the Adept to get in and getting the worker damage that it did.
The switch into Phoenixes was massive for SKillous.
Yeah. It really was.
But that was game number 1. This is game number 2 here on Jagannatha LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Russia. He is currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 group stage series. He is going to be representing himself, SKillous.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the German Terran. His debut, his first time here in DreamHack Masters in the group stage, representing Genesis Gaming. It is BattleB.
I'm hoping that the rush length here on Jagannatha will mean that we get into a bit of a longer game.
I hope so too.
Fingers crossed.
Not gonna lie. As we keep an eye on this probe here from SKillous. So far, nothing crazy going on. He's not setting himself up for another proxy. Not yet, anyway. As he's going for an expand.
No, or is he?
Oh boy. I'm just scared, man. Again, just like you, I'm curious to see what BattleB has to offer here.
Yeah.
I'm sure game 1 wasn't really reflective of that, right?
Definitely. So those things where BattleB has been very active, but fortunately those tournaments he's been active in or in time zones that weren't too convenient, personally.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure BattleB he plays a lot more in the other OSC events, like Cock of the Walk, for example. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
There we go. SKillous, he does expand, take a Nexus, take another base. It's all good.
We're getting a mid-game.
Oh, it's happening. Oh, calm down. We're not there yet, buddy. We're not there yet.
Okay, yeah. Maybe a little too early to call, but yeah, all signs point towards at least a push coming out from BattleB, or, you know, at least a push coming out from one player that's not overly aggressive. That's not going to end the game before it begins, right?
Exactly, and BattleB playing very safe, very scared, it feels, as he makes his CC on the high ground, right? He doesn't try to take precautions to defend against adapts by going for a fast bunker on the low ground to be as greedy as possible for your second base. So yeah, just being very conservative.
Indeed, he is. Can't really blame him after in first game, and SKillous definitely has quite a few tricks up his sleeve.
He really does, especially because he's not doing what we would expect. The more standard thing to do is the Twilight Council opener in this matchup, right? We saw it time and time again from Drogo, I almost said Drogo, from Lil Bao, the other French Protoss. And he
morphed together.
Yeah, and he wasn't really able to accomplish anything with it, but it's a very solid way to open up, right? Defensive and aggressive. Instead, we see a Stargate.
Oh, and I thought he was going to go immediately into Phoenixes, but an Oracle first is the decision here by SKillous. That could cause a ton of damage if these Marines aren't in position.
That it can. Right now, the Marines are being distracted by this Adept, and unfortunately, BattleB, because he did skip his Reaper at the beginning of the game, he doesn't necessarily know what the follow-up is going to be. Doesn't know if it is Blink, or Phoenixes, or Oracles.
Yeah, hasn't really been able to scout that. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or not, but SKillous's Adept was able to draw a lot of these Marines for that main mineral line. It's continuing to look vulnerable.
It's looking very vulnerable, man, especially because these are vanilla Marines. Like, they're moving out of the middle of the map, but instead we see a revelation. Oh my god.
Once again, SKillous, I'm not sure how I would describe this. It's like aggressively cautious, or no, cautiously aggressive is probably more accurate. He gets the Oracle, goes across the map, but he doesn't go straight to the mineral line. He loses the Oracle now, which is unfortunate. Won't be able to use that in the defense, but thankfully he has a second Oracle to make that Stasis Ward.
That he does. Stasis Ward does go down, but you know what he sees? He knows he's going to bait it out with a single Marine. Almost a single Marine.
Yeah. A couple of SCVs as well. So at least BattleB won't be building bunkers for a while, but SKillous does need to really be worried about this tank. It's in position to take out that pylon. Not going to power the shield batteries. He does.
Yeah, with that, he'll be able to focus on a couple of these Marines. He will not be able to take out the tank, but in comes the Void Ray.
That will be able to take out the tank. No. Very hot pickup right at the last second. That Void Ray is still very exposed. SKillous wants it. He gets out the tank. Battery overcharge, helping right at the last second.
Exactly, overcharge. The MVP there. SKillous holds on. He takes down the tank, but we have a second tank on the way being rallied across the map for BattleB. Still no upgrades for his Marines, but again, he has quite a large army supply. If SKillous has to buy a little bit more time to get another warp in.
Those SCVs did survive. He can still throw in a couple of bunkers. SKillous allows him to finish. BattleB is going to have quite a bit of a foothold, but you know what? Why have what's the point of bunkers if you can't fill them up? And yeah, so SKillous is just focusing a lot on the Marines. The Void Ray goes down! And the Immortal should follow. Yeah, the Void Ray was the backbone of this army. I guess now you could say it's the Immortal, but the tanks are leapfrogging forward, and this is a great position here for BattleB. It really is. It's going to be incredibly difficult right now for SKillous to push into this. He has an Immortal that's half dead. He doesn't have that many warp-ins. The Void Ray getting chroned out as quick as possible. SKillous being very conservative right now. He knows he needs to preserve his army until he can go for one decisive counter. Exactly. BattleB just abusing the greed of SKillous here. We do have a nice pickup on the Cyclone though, and again, despite having very minimal units here, SKillous, he's trying desperately to hold on. Goes for another overcharge. Yeah, just doing a real good job of keeping that Void Ray alive. SKillous finally gaining back some ground. Yeah, surprisingly so. He pushes this all the way back. He focuses down the tank. Ooh, the tank just barely manages to survive. And the Void Rays go down. SKillous buys himself a little bit of breathing room, but at what cost? He still loses a ton of army. This tank wasn't taken out. It's currently getting repaired.
Oh my
god.
god.
Wants it, and he will be able to take it out. Ooh.
That he will. Your SKillous is so greedy. I was talking about it earlier. He went for a Stargate into a robotics bay. This man at the Twilight Council. Like, this guy, he's like, I don't need more gateways. I'm fine. Is he?
Well, we'll see if that's the case as the Immortals are starting to get targeted down. The Void Ray very exposed again.
And what's important is that workers are not dying here. Like, SKillous, he's still mining fine on 2-base economy. He has to be careful though. These Immortals are getting so very low.
Yeah, and every time they get hit, every time the shields deplete, that's more energy being drained by the shield batteries. Sure, SKillous does have overcharge, but he does have to wait for those cooldowns. SKillous, he holds.
Yeah.
But BattleB is able to expand on 3 bases.
I am impressed. Like, SKillous cut so many corners. That was probably the most ideal situation, by the way, for BattleB. It's like, man, you don't have any gateways, you don't have charge, you don't have blink, you have a very minimal amount of units. I'm going to be able to break you. And he almost did. He almost did. Maybe some miscontrol. Losing a couple of those high-tech units like tanks and cyclones and Vikings was a little bit too much. And now SKillous is getting away with all of this. Now he's finally getting these gateways up and running.
Yeah, his economy is going to be a little bit slower than BattleB's, but his tech is something that he's absolutely shooting up in.
Oh, yeah.
Thermal Lance, already about a third of the way done. Now, BattleB does have that 3rd base at the very least, so again, he's going to have a very stable, very powerful economy, which once he throws down the production to utilize it.
Yeah.
But he will be staying on his side of the map until his upgrades finish up too.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say he was all in. He wasn't all in, but like it was very committed. And it's not like suddenly everything has swung in the favor of SKillous. But like soon it may. Like SKillous has a lot of potential right now to just skyrocket with those Colossus, with get more warpings of the Zealots as well to buffer for his army. Meanwhile, like upgrades like Stim they're only just now about to finish for BattleB.
Pretty much. I still think BattleB does have the advantage here.
Yeah.
He's mining a lot more. His upgrades are about to finish up, but as he was saying, you know, the fact that he has to wait for these upgrades gives SKillous a lot more time to get more Colossus out, to get a Disruptor out.
Yeah.
It could end in one fell swoop.
What's important?
What's
important, as we do see a scan, SKillous did not see the army at all as it was moving out. He is not prepared. He has a couple of shield batteries at the 3rd base, but that may not come into play as finally the tanks reveal themselves.
They are swinging themselves up very, very nicely. The Marines going to be protecting them as well. These tanks definitely in range of a couple of those gateways. Thermal Lance finish up though. These Colossus are able to chip away at the bio. 3 tanks are still alive, and that is the backbone of BattleB's army right now. If SKillous can't deal with them, he won't be able to defend, but the Void Ray sneak in and completely shut that down. So yeah, I was really worried for SKillous for a sec, but I guess I never should have doubted. Exactly,
overcharge, mate. Shield batteries. Like nothing of importance died there for SKillous. Let me quickly check here. Only gateway units fell. Meanwhile, 4 tanks went down. But now here we go. BattleB is going to be hitting the 3rd base. Ooh, trying to pull SKillous apart here.
So you get battery overcharge. SKillous has one available by that 3rd base.
Ooh, that
will
does.
pretty soon.
Meanwhile, it looks like BattleB is going to commit to this engagement. He does pick off one of the Disruptors, and at the same time, he's going to try and hit this fresh 4th base of SKillous.
Yeah, SKillous forced to cancel that. There is quite a bit of ground to cover right now for his army. BattleB is slowly battering away at SKillous's economy, you gotta say.
It's one of those things where, like, these fights are so close and SKillous is defending with so little, but at least behind this BattleB, like, he's expanding, like, his economy is amazing, like, he's getting a 4th up and running, you know, his macro has been, for the most part, impeccable, like, he has maintained an army lead, but oh my god, that could all change with these Disruptors.
Very good split here by BattleB, a little bit of a whiffed Purification Nova as well, a fantastic concave of Marauders, dealing with the majority of that army. It's only Colossus right now with no buffer. Battery overcharges, doing quite a bit to keep them alive, but don't think that's quite going to be enough. I say that as, okay, there we go, GG. BattleB ties up that series. Really glad to be able to see BattleB play out his game how he wants to play it out. And yeah, I was going to say that I think SKillous could have continued to defend there, but the writing was on the wall. Even if he did defend at that particular instant, in that particular instance, BattleB was far ahead. He was going up to what, 9 barracks towards the end of the game. His 4th base was completely untouched. If he didn't win there, he would have won eventually.
I just love how you were casting that engagement and you were kind of leading to it obviously ending with the death of those Colossus. But I could hear the uncertainty when you saw that the Colossus didn't die. That they just survived.
When the Colossus didn't die, when there was a battery overcharge.
Yeah, and they're just still standing there and you're like, ah, is he dead? Is he dead? No, he did die, yes. Thankfully.
Battery overcharge is pretty good.
It is. Oh god, but yeah, GG. What a game there by BattleB.
This is one of those rules of Terran, right? You have to always be suspicious of the battery overcharge. Otherwise, do you even play Terran?
Completely understandable. As mate, we're going into the ace match.
That we are! Concluding this series on Oxide LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. The red Terran player coming out from the land of Germany. He is a fresh face here in DreamHack Masters, making his debut. And mate, if you win your debut match, that's something that few players can really say they've done. Representing Genesis Gaming, he is, of course, BattleB.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Russian Protoss player. He is blue, representing himself. Currently tied up 1-1. It is SKillous.
Definitely very efficient when it comes to the engagements.
Yeah.
Not as much when it comes to the production.
Yeah, like despite getting +1 and despite getting like charged, I don't even think in that final engagement he had a single zealot. Just had Colossus, Void Rays, some Phoenixes, some Sentries, Immortals. Yeah, it was a very interesting and very wonky army from SKillous. And like once I say that, I'm suddenly reminded that, I remember that he does this in a different matchup as well, and that's PvP, if you recall, where SKillous is like the only European pro player who, in PvP, instead of going Disruptors, he goes Colossus.
Wait, you say only European pro? I'd be willing to bet you could extend that to the only pro in general who consistently goes for Colossus in PvP.
Yeah, he just does his own thing, you know? And I remember saying this last season as well when we were able to cast him. It's like, it's one of the most impressive things about SKillous is that he is at the highest level of play in Europe. You know, he's, top 32, arguably top 16, arguably more, doing his own thing, not necessarily doing the meta, right? He just has his own kind of twist and his own flair, I guess.
Not even necessarily cheesing every game, although we did see a little bit of that in game number 1. But even then, as you pointed out, the shield batteries were in a bit of an odd location.
Yeah, and it wasn't hyper committed either. Like that's what was
worked out for him.
Yeah. I mean, if he was hyper committed, it probably would have worked anyway. But just interesting.
He was keeping his options open just in case. And speaking of keeping options open, we don't have another Stargate opening. Instead, SKillous is going for something a lot more standard, something I would consider a lot more safe. Twilight Council.
Exactly, and that also goes into game number 2 as well, which I'm sure people noticed. When it comes to the opener of SKillous, the first 2 oracles honestly didn't really do too much at all, right? They didn't get into a mineral line, even though they were so exposed. I was so surprised when the first oracle didn't dive in and instead went for a revelation. And the second one threw down a stasis, but it got 1 marine and 2 SCVs, and that's kind of it. Like, again, there was a big investment into Stargate, into the oracle opening, and it just never paid for itself.
Listen, those SCVs may have thrown down the bunkers then and there.
I guess, sure.
So, yeah. But, SKillous makes it to the main base, and will scout the opening, sees the Widow Mine, should be able to do so from here. BattleB does want to go for a bit of a mine drop into arguably a bit of standard push. Will this cause friendly fire if...
it may. Meanwhile, the Hellion does get across the map, is going to get a couple of worker kills. I was also really worried about the friendly fire, but it looks like we have nothing to worry about because it will not go off in the mineral line.
Yeah, this Adept definitely has a lot to be worried about, though. Will be taken out by the Marines, but will, again, confirm that SKillous is going for the mine drop, and I believe he was able to catch the edge of that barracks, too.
Let me just quickly check, and he was able to catch that Rax on the way, so he has a lot of information available to him. The drop is coming across the map, but as you said, I mean, it was scouted, it was spotted, and it will be intercepted.
Like so.
Exactly. Unable to get anywhere near this natural, forced to stay outside the third base for the time being. Of course, what's important is that no damage was dealt to the medevac, so he can come in at a later moment.
Yeah, for now, just rotating a little bit, trying to go into the main base instead. SKillous is already on top of that. Gets a pylon on the edge for vision. Places some stalkers in the middle of his bases. He even sees this with his observer. He's on top of everything.
He sees, he knows what Blink is done, mate.
Blink's right on top of that medevac. Unfortunately, not enough to one-shot it, but enough to create a bit of a warning. It was a warning shot more than anything.
That it was. Meanwhile, the main push is coming through the middle of the map, but oh my god, the observer spots this as well.
Knowledge is, in fact, power, and these are vanilla Marines. They really can't do much against these Blink Stalkers. Once that tank siege is up, it's going to be a bit of a different story, but that also kind of locks BattleB in one position.
It really does, and BattleB is forced to unsiege, back off, go all the way back home, and SKillous gets away with his third base.
Wow. So I'm keeping tabs on the army. The medevac with one observer, the other army with his other observer, but also his stalkers.
Yeah, and I just love this from SKillous, because this feels like a more standard TVP. This feels like he's taking this a little bit more seriously. You know, he's not like rushing into Robotics Bay, into Colossus, and then getting more upgrades and tech. Like, no, he's just getting more gateways, working on like a foundation of his army first.
Yeah, now throwing down the Templar Archives for some Storms and some Archons, but as you said, it's not like he rushed this tech at all. He's still getting his gateway upgrades, his +1, his charge, and his blink and whatnot. He does need to get some, or ideally he would get some Archons out soon though. Can he cancel Stim? Can he cancel Stim? I doubt it. The repair is fantastic right now.
Oh my god, it looks like it will not be able to cancel that, but he does blink further into the main base. Meanwhile, BattleB does not turn around. We do see a recoil because BattleB, he's committed, he's headed towards the third base.
The shield batteries are in position. These Immortals and these Zealots, for the time being, are going to be the most important unit right now for SKillous. They're the only ones that can really tank these siege tank shots effectively.
Exactly. Meanwhile,
I say siege tanks, it's only one.
And mate, but it doesn't matter because you know what? We got a Raven. Anti-armor missile is possible here, but oh, BattleB sees the army, backs off. There are reinforcements coming across the map though, so just maybe waiting to reinforce that army.
Yeah, it's a bit of a smaller army, but what do we always say? Like, don't underestimate the overcharge. So BattleB wants to make sure he hits with everything he's got. He's got a pretty substantial army. +1 finished up. His barracks upgrades finished up too.
That they did. No longer vanilla Marines. He does have Stim. He does have combat shields. Looks like he's sieging up. He wants to fight.
There's a bit of a question is, where is the splash damage? Ooh, nice blink backwards from SKillous, making sure that only a single Immortal and some Zealots get hit with that anti-armor missile. A little bit of friendly fire with that Widowmine shot. A fantastic anti-armor missile. Is that going to be enough? Just about, yeah.
Yeah,
the
just
tank stays strong.
Exactly, just barely. The tank dishing out so much damage throughout this entire engagement. The entire army of SKillous just evaporates there. It collapses. I'm so surprised that he just stuck around there with the rest of his Immortals, and with that he loses everything. But his economy is still intact, and he still has plenty of army left over.
Yeah, despite trading very, very well, SKillous hasn't sustained any economic damage yet. BattleB still has a better army though. Archon is going to be a while before it finishes morphing in.
Yeah, exactly. We do see the charge on forward, but there's a field of Widowmines behind this.
And there is. A bunch of Zealots get taken out immediately, but so do a couple of these bio units too. Very nice kiting though from BattleB. He doesn't even have concussive shells, but he's able to keep a couple of his units alive. I do feel that the wind has kind of been knocked out of sail though.
For the tank
reinforced, but
yeah, as you were saying, he overstayed his welcome. The tank finally goes down. That was the MVP tank, by the way. Despite there only being one, it did so much for the army of BattleB. But as we see, finally it did fall. So did many of the Widow Mines. 2 of the shots get baited out.
They do a little bit of damage on top of these Marauders, but not sure if it's going to be enough. This Bioforce is very badly stemmed. It doesn't take much for the Archons to get their volleys in to completely clean this out. BattleB is technically ahead on the army supply, but he's got 6 medevacs.
That he does. As we do see BattleB forced back, he's trying to macro as best he can. What we're really missing here are some reinforcements for SKillous. Like, he is arguably overextending hard here. But there we go.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to get that army caught.
Yeah.
On open ground, just get concaved by the Bioforce.
Exactly, especially because BattleB was just continuing to rally across the map. And with this SKillous, now he has defended, his economy, his probes were completely left untouched. Something that was also happening throughout this is, let me quickly check here, the 3rd base was denied by BattleB, like he's still stuck on 2 bases.
That he is, unfortunately. Behind all of this, he was sticking up a little bit, producing a couple of Liberators, going to do such a good job of zoning out the Protoss army. The main anti-air right now are Archons, and they don't have the effective range to really deal with the Liberators. Quick warp in of Stalkers, but it does kind of mean that SKillous is a weaker army than he otherwise could have.
Yeah, and now he's pulling the trigger. He dives on top of the army. He's trying to blink, trying to focus down as many Liberators as he can, and he'll get every single one of them.
Oh, the army of BattleB, the pathing does split it up. It's regrouping them now, but I feel like it's a little bit too late. The medevacs are out of energy and falling. The stims are not helping him out. GG, SKillous takes that series 2-1.